Hello everyone, welcome to Unacademy's YouTube channel. Let me check if the stream is coming up in YouTube or not. After that, we will start with the class. Okay, give me a moment here to check if the stream is coming up in YouTube or not. After that, we will start with the class. Okay, the stream is coming up, everyone. Okay, so let's start with the today's class. Now, what in today's class we are going to look at? Now, give me a moment here. In today's class, we are going to look at state executive as well as legislature. So in today's class, we are going to look at only state executive, state legislature. We will look in the next class. Okay. So before going on to the class itself, let me give you a brief introduction about myself as well as about Unacademy. See, my name is Aravind. I've completed my BE Mechanical Engineering in 2014 and I have almost 3 years of experience in teaching UPSC Civil Services and I have experienced all stages of UPSC Civil Services, that is prelims, mains and interview. Now my specialty subjects include polity, international relations and then current affairs. Okay, so these are the subjects which I predominantly teach in Unacademy. Okay, so please do subscribe to Unacademy if you want to follow my classes regularly. Now this is my Telegram link in case you want to know the schedule of my classes. Unacademy underscore Aravind, or if you have any doubts regarding the regarding my classes, you can join this Telegram group and ask your doubts there. Now, what will you get by subscribing to Unacademy? See, by subscribing to Unacademy, you will get access to daily live classes where you can watch classes, you can rewatch them, and then importantly, if you have any doubts, you can ask those doubts. Okay, so this rewatchability feature is very important because if you are going for an offline institution, you cannot revisit your old classes. Okay, in case if you are having any doubts regarding your old classes, you cannot revisit your classes. But with Unacademy, since it's an online platform, you can revisit your old classes. And then Unacademy also conducts live tests as well as quizzes almost on a daily basis so that you get to test yourself based on examination point of view. And after you have undertaken a test, detailed analysis of your performance will be given to you by the Unacademy. And then all courses in Unacademy are structured courses, meaning the flow at which Unacademy will teach you courses will be much more in tune to the examination point of view and it will make your learning process much easier. And then you will get unlimited access to videos concerned with the examination that you're subscribing for. If you're subscribing for UPSC, you will get unlimited access to videos concerned with UPSC examination. So these are the things that you will get by subscribing to Unacademy. And also Unacademy serves as a platform where top educators like Mudit Gupta, Sudarshan Gujjar, Prakash Kumar, all these top educators, they get to share their knowledge with students who hail from all over India. Okay. And then Unacademy importantly covers syllabus in a very comprehensive manner so that each and every nook and corner of UPSC syllabus will be covered by Unacademy. Not only that, the same syllabus will be covered by multiple faculties. Okay, so that if you're not satisfied with one faculty, you can immediately switch over to another faculty. So that's a choice Unacademy provides you with. Okay, so in a way, Unacademy is trying to democratize the entire learning process by giving the choice of where you want to learn from whom you want to learn from, at what time you want to learn from. Okay, so Unacademy is trying to democratize the entire learning process itself. Now I suggest you guys download the Unacademy learning app so that you can keep a track of your learning goals, how much time you are spending with Unacademy, or if your favorite teacher is about to take a class in Unacademy, you will get notifications. So for to keep track of all these things, I suggest you guys download Unacademy learning app. So apart from keeping track of all those things, in Unacademy learning app, we will use this app to conduct quizzes. Okay, so if you are undertaking quizzes in YouTube channels and all, we'll be using Unacademy learning app. So guys, please download Unacademy learning app. Now these are the fees charged by Unacademy for plus subscription. Now these fees are very less compared to offline institutions where you'll be spending upwards of 4 to 5 lakh rupees, which covers things like fees, food, rent. But with Unacademy, you won't be spending a dime on either food or rent. because you'll be learning from the comfort of your home itself. Even for fees, uh, the upfront cost that you'll be paying for Unacademy is a lot less compared to other institutions. On top of very meager sum that Unacademy is charging you, if you're using my code Aravind V, you'll get 10 percentage as offer. So instead of paying 44,000 rupees for 12 months, you'll be paying only 39,600. So please don't forget to use my code Aravind V in case you are planning to subscribe for Unacademy. Now even for iconic platform, if you're using my code Aravind V, you will get 10 percentage as offer. Okay. So guys, please don't forget to use my code Aravind V in case you are planning to subscribe for Unacademy. Okay. So that's introduction and promotion done with everyone. Let's move on to today's class. Okay, let's move on to today's class. Here everyone. In today's class, we are going to look at state executive. We are going to look at state executive. So state executive, who will first we have to talk about who will come under state executive. State executive will comprise of governor, chief minister plus council of ministers, and then attorney general of state. Okay, so these three people will be termed as state executive. Okay, governor, chief minister plus council of ministers, and then attorney general of state. So in this class, we are going to look at exclusively governor and chief minister plus council of ministers. So in this class, we are going to look at these two offices, governor plus council of ministers of a particular state. Now, attorney general of state, we will cover attorney general of state along with attorney general of India. Okay, so there is no need to discuss this office in this class. Okay, so in this class, we will focus entirely on governor as well as chief minister plus council of ministers. Now, before discussing state executive, we have to look at how the structure of Indian constitution has been established, how Indian constitution has been structured. Okay, so if Indian constitution is a parliamentary form of government. So since Indian constitution is a parliamentary form of government, we have both Lok Sabha as well as Rajya Sabha. So out of these two houses of the parliament, we have prime minister plus council of ministers. Okay, so out of these two houses of the parliament, we will take prime minister plus council of ministers, and we will have president here. We will have president here. Now, this is give me a minute here. Okay. Now this circle represents union executive. This circle represents union executive, and this circle represents union legislature. Okay, so this first circle, the inner circle represents union executive, the outer circle represents union legislature. So what can you interpret by just by looking at this diagram? You can interpret that in India, union executive is taken out of union legislature. Okay, so union executive is a part and parcel of union legislature. So you can interpret that by looking at this Venn diagram. So that's what parliamentary form of government means, right? Executive is taken out of legislature. Okay, so this is union executive and union legislature. Okay, so now if you look at state executive and state legislature, state union executive and union legislature are differentiated from state executive and state legislature by a thing called as division of power. By a thing called as division of power. What is the meaning of division of power? The power is divided between two levels of government. Now, this division of power is very essential for a federal government. Okay, so you might have come across this in your federalism class. Okay, so this division of power is very essential for federalism. Okay, so if you look at state government, below president appoints governor. President appoints governor. Now, even in state level, we have state legislative assembly and then state legislative council. This one is optional. So out of these two houses, we will select both chief minister plus council of minister, and this one is called as state executive, and this one is called as state legislature. Okay, so the first diagram is state executive, the second one is state legislature. So similar to to union level, even in state level we follow parliamentary form of government where the executive is taken out of legislature. Okay, so this is very important. So this is how our government is being structured according to our Indian constitution. Okay, this is very important everyone. Without understanding this you cannot understand state executive. So if you have any doubts regarding this, please ask your doubts right now. Okay, and then this is regarding executive and legislature. We have other organ of government called as judiciary. Now in India, unlike British Parliament, we have judiciary. We keep judiciary separate. We keep judiciary separate. Okay. So unlike state executive and union executive, there is no division of power between judiciary. Judiciary in India is integrated. Judiciary in India is, sorry for that. Judiciary in India is integrated. There is no division of power. Okay, so similar to if you look at the executive and legislature, there is no separation of power between legislature and executive in parliamentary form of government. Okay, so the executive is taken out of legislature, but if you look at judiciary, judiciary is kept separate. Okay, so this principle is called as separation of power. This principle is called as separation of power. So according to this separation of power principle, judiciary will function separately from the influence of executive as well as legislature. Now this part, the separation of power, a question based on separation of power was asked in the recent UPSC prelims. Okay, so the separation of power principle is given in which of the following provisions of Indian Constitution? The answer was TPSP. Okay, everyone. So this is how our Indian Constitution is structured. Okay. Now let's move on to state executive. So state executive. So as I mentioned before, state executive we have three personnel: governor, chief minister plus council of minister, and then attorney general of state. So first we will look at governor. First we will look at the office of governor. After that we will move on to chief minister plus council of ministers. Now if you look at governor, similar to our president's class, okay, similar to our president class, first we will discuss the office of governor. First we will discuss the office of governor, and then we will discuss the powers and functions of governor. First we will discuss the office of governor, and then we will discuss the powers and functions of governor. Okay, so what will we discuss in office of governor? First we will discuss how the governor is appointed, appointment, his tenure, his conditions of service, and then his removal, his removal, uh, his qualification. All these things we will discuss in office of governor, and then in powers and functions of the governor we will discuss what are the executive functions of the government, what are the legislative powers and functions of the governor, and then we will discuss what are the judicial functions and powers of governor. Okay, so this is how our lesson plan will go in this class. Okay, now I'll give you 1 minute everyone if you have any doubts so far. Okay, I've explained how the Indian Constitution is set up. Okay, so how our Indian Constitution has been structured. Okay, so if you have any doubts so far, please ask your doubts. Okay, this is very to if you are understanding this, we can move on with the class. So please ask your doubts if any. Okay. Serial one, the governor of state, the office of governor of state is given from Article 152 to Article 162. Okay, so the office of governor is defined from Article 152 to Article 162. Okay, so Article 153, what does it say? There shall be, according to Article 153, there shall be governor of governor of governor for each state. Okay, so that's what the first provision says. There shall be governor for each state. So uh, what does this signify? What does this signify? It means that there should be governor for each state at every time. Okay, so similar to how president is required to be present at all the times, there shall be governor for each state at all the times. Okay, so that's what this line signify. There shall be governor for each state, and then the second provision is that a governor can be appointed as can be appointed as governor for two or more states. A governor can be appointed as governor for two or more states. Okay, so now the authority who can do this is Parliament. Okay, so Parliament is authority who can appoint governor for two or more states. So this is Article 153. According to Article 153, there shall be governor for each state, and then a governor can be appointed as governor for two or more states. Okay, so this is Article 153. After that, we will discuss appointment. We will discuss appointment. Who appoints governor? See, according to Article 155, President appoints governor for each state. President appoints governor for each state by warrant under his hand and seal. Okay, by his warrant under his hand and seal. Okay, so according to Article 145, President appoints governor for each state by his warrant under his hand and seal. Okay, this is very very important. Okay, unlike president, who appoints president? President. Okay, look at if you look at union level, the similar office to governor is president. In union level, president is appointed by an electoral college. President is appointed by an electoral college consisting of MPs and MLAs. Okay, but if you look at governor is appointed by president. Okay, so what does it say? What does it say? Can anyone tell me in the chat section how can you gauge the difference between these two offices just by looking at the appointment procedure? Can anyone tell me the difference between these two offices just by looking at the appointment procedure? Can anyone tell me? See, I mentioned before, president is appointed by an electoral college, but whereas in case of governor, governor is appointed by president. Okay, so can anyone tell me what can be the differences between these two offices just by looking at the appointment procedure? Can anyone tell me in the chat section? See here, everyone. President is appointed by a constitutional body. President is appointed by a constitutional body called as electoral college. So president is supposed to be independent. He is supposed to be independent and he has wide acceptance. He should have wide acceptance from all the parties as well as states. But if you look at governor, governor is appointed by president. President acts on the immediate advice of whom? Central government. President acts on the immediate advice of central government. So just by looking at the appointment procedure, we can gauge that president is an authority who is supposed to be independent, whereas in case of governor, governor is a person who is supposed to be working for the central government. Can everyone understand? Just by looking at the appointment procedure, we can gauge that a president is an authority who is supposed to be independent and should have wide acceptance towards all political parties as well as states. But if you look at governor, governor is supposed to be working for the central government. Okay, so governor is the representative of central government at state level. Okay, so this is very important, everyone. Unlike president, governor is a representative of central government at state level. Okay, do you understand, everyone? Next we will discuss is terms of office of governor. Terms of office of governor. Terms of office of governor. So the first of office of term of governor is that the governor will hold the office. The governor will hold the office during the pleasure of the governor. During the pleasure of president. Okay, so the governor will hold the office during the pleasure of president. Now, can anyone tell me the meaning of this word pleasure of president? Okay, you might have come across this word pleasure of president quite a while when you're reading polity, but can anyone tell me what is the actual meaning of this word pleasure of president? See here, everyone, whenever an office is appointed under the pleasure of president, they don't have security of tenure. They don't have security of tenure. What is the meaning of not having security of tenure? Security of tenure meaning that a person can be removed from his office at any time. A person can be removed from the office by the president at any time. So that's the meaning of holding an office under the pleasure of president. So if president is not satisfied with the functioning of a particular governor, he can immediately remove that particular governor. Okay, so this is very important, everyone. This is very important. This will come later on. Okay, this will come later on regarding the controversy of removal of governors. Okay, now the second term of office of the governor is that the governor can resign from office. Governor can resign from office by addressing to president. Okay, so by addressing to president, governor can resign from his office on his own. And also, so apart from all these conditions, a governor will hold office for a term of 5 years. For a term of 5 years. Okay, governor will hold office for a term of 5 years. Okay, now apart from 5 years, governor will continue to hold office. Governor will continue to hold office until his successor assumes charge. So what is the meaning of this last sentence? Governor will continue to hold office until his successor assumes charge. See here everyone, as I mentioned before, the tenure of a governor is 5 years. Okay. The tenure of the governor is 5 years. So before the expiry of the term 5 years, central government, the president should have appointed the new governor. So in some cases, if the new governor is not appointed, there is some delay for an appointment of new governor. The existing governor will continue in office until the new governor will assume charge of the office of governor. Okay, so that's the meaning of the last one. Okay, so the governor will continue in office until his successor assumes in charge. Okay, everyone. So did you understand, everyone? Do you have any doubts so far? Everyone, do you have any doubts so far? Please ask your doubts right now. I will give you 1 minute to ask your doubts. After that, I'm moving on to the next part. See, the term of office of governor, it is given in Article 156. It is given in Article 156. Okay. Now let's move on to the next part. Qualification for office of governor. Now this is given. Our qualification is given in Article 157. The qualification is given in Article 157. One, a governor should be he should be a citizen of India. He should be a citizen of India. Ramesh, I mentioned right. Pleasure means the president will have the authority to remove that person whenever he likes. So if president is not satisfied with a particular person's performance, he can remove. If he's appointed under the pleasure of governor. Okay. See, you might have come across this word. Wait, I'll explain now. You might have come across this word called as security of tenure. Security of tenure. Now, which offices will have the security of tenure? Offices like Election Commission, uh, Comptroller Audit General of India, UPSC, all these offices will have security of tenure. But there are other offices which does not have security of tenure. Now, these persons are appointed under the pleasure of president. These officers are appointed under the pleasure of president. Like for example, Prime Minister plus Council of Ministers. You have Attorney General of India. You have a Governor of State. Okay, so all these persons. Okay, Prime Minister plus Council of Ministers, Attorney General of India, Governor of States. All these persons, they do not have security of tenure. They do not have security of tenure. So as long as the president is satisfied with their performance, they will remain in the office. Whenever they are not performing to the satisfaction of the president, they will be removed from the office. That is the meaning of pleasure of president. Now, did you understand? Okay. This is my number, Ramesh. 9443218545. Did you understand, Ramesh? Did you understand? Do you understand, Ramesh? What the pleasure means? Pleasure of president. Okay. So the qualification for appointment of governor is, the first one is he should be a citizen of India. Second one is that he should have attained he should have attained 35 years of he should have attained 35 years of age. Okay. Now, apart from qualifications and terms, there are certain conditions imposed on conditions of governor's office. There are certain conditions that are imposed on governor's office. Now, what are these conditions? What are these conditions? The first one is that governor should not be a member of should not be an MP as well as MLA on MLC. Okay, governor should not be an MP, MLA or MLC. Okay, so if an MLA or MP is appointed as governor, he should immediately vacate the office of MP or MLA or MLC. This is the first condition of office. Second condition is that he should not, he shouldn't hold office of profit. He shouldn't hold office of profit under government of India. He shouldn't hold office of profit under government of India. The next one is that governor is entitled to use official residences. Governor is entitled to use official residences, allowances, privileges as determined by parliamentary law, from time to time. Okay, so what is the meaning of this word? Entitled to use official residences, allowances, privileges as determined by parliamentary law from time to time. So the condition, this means that the condition of service for the governor will be regulated by a law of parliament. It will be passed by parliament from time to time. So this, if the salary of the governor is to be altered, it can be done only by the parliament by means of passing a law. Now give me a moment here. Bangar, 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 de Bangar. Light. Okay. Now the fourth one is that the emoluments of governor shall not be diminished during his term of office. Okay. This is very important, everyone. The emolument of governor shall not be diminished during the term of his office. Now this is very important. Now this provision will be given for any office that is given security of tenure, but even though the governor does not have security of tenure, he is given with this safeguard nonetheless. Okay. Now the next one is oath or affirmation. Okay. So if a governor, before entering his office, he has to take an oath. Before Chief Justice of High Court. If he has to take an oath before Chief Justice of High Court. So only after taking an oath he can enter the office of governor. So if a person wants to enter the office of governor, he has to compulsorily take oath. This is very important, everyone. This is very important. Okay. Now the next one is removal of office of governor. The next one is removal of governor. See here, everyone, the removal of governor is not mentioned in the constitution, is not mentioned in the constitution. Removal is not mentioned in the constitution. So if removal is not mentioned in the constitution, how will the governor be removed? As I mentioned before, governor is appointed under the pleasure of president. Okay, so according to this, according to Article 153, since governor is appointed as under the pleasure of president, who will remove? President has a power to remove. President has a power to remove governor. President has a power to remove governor, and of course, president, if he is taking any decision, he will not take any decision on his own. President on the aid and advice of Prime Minister plus Council of Ministers. Prime Minister plus Council of Ministers. He will remove the governor from his office. Okay. Okay. So everyone, we have discussed the office of governor successfully. Everyone. So when we are discussing governor, I said that we will discuss office of governor as well as powers and functions of governor. So far we have discussed the office of governor. Okay. So before discussing the functions of governor, I will give you 2 minutes to ask your doubts. So if you have any doubts, please ask right now. After that, I will move on to the powers and functions of governor. Okay. Please ask your doubts, everyone. Please ask your doubts. If you're not asking your doubts, I will move on to the next part. Okay. Since you're not asking doubts, I've assumed that you have understood everything, and then I'm moving on to the next part. Okay. So now we are going to discuss powers and functions of the office of governor. Okay. So the powers and functions we will discuss from executive sphere. We will discuss the power and function of governor from executive sphere. We will discuss from legislative sphere, and then we will also discuss from judicial sphere. Okay. So first we will discuss the executive functions of the office of governor. Executive powers of governor. Okay, what are the executive powers of governor? The first one is that according to Article 160, every executive action that the state government takes will be in the name of governor. Okay, so every executive action that state government takes will be in the name of governor. Okay, so that's the first executive power. Okay, so any executive, if state government is trying to pass in any executive order, that executive order should have to be signed by governor of a state to become an executive order. So every executive action that the state government takes will be in the name of governor. Okay. The next one is that the governor will take decisions on the aid and advice of governor will take executive actions on the aid and advice of chief ministers plus council of ministers. Governor will take executive action based on the aid and advice of chief minister plus council of ministers. The next provision is that governor can make rules for simplifying the transaction between governor and council of ministers of state. Okay, so governor, so just like president, can make rules for simplifying the transaction between governor and council of ministers. Okay, so these are three important executive principles. Okay, these are three important executive powers that are given to governors of every state. And then the fourth one is that chief ministers plus council of ministers are appointed by governor. They are appointed by governor. Chief ministers plus council of ministers, they are appointed by governor. Now these four provisions are applicable for every state. These four provisions are applicable for every state. But if you look at the next executive powers, these are applicable only for certain states. He appoints Minister for Tribal Welfare in the states of Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh, and then Odisha. So according to Indian Constitution, governor is supposed to appoint Minister of Tribal Welfare compulsorily for these four states. That is Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh, and then Odisha. Okay. Now the next executive power is that governor appoints these following persons. State Election Commission, State Public Service Commission, and then he also appoints Vice Chancellors of universities in a state. Okay, so governor appoints members of State Election Commission. Now, State Election Commission, as you all know, is the body which is responsible for the conduction of election of Panchayat Raj institution, and he also appoints. Okay, he also appoints members for State Public Service Commission and also vice chancellors for universities of state. Okay, and also the next provision is that the next executive provision of the governor is that the governor can seek information from chief ministers plus council of ministers. So governor can seek information from chief minister plus council of ministers. And then the next executive power is that the governor can recommend imposition of resident rule to president. Okay, so governor is an authority who can recommend the imposition of resident rule in a particular state to the president. Okay, so these are executive powers of governor. First one is that every executive action that a state government takes is taken in the name of governor. Governor will act on the advice of chief ministers plus council of ministers, and then the governor can make rules for simplifying the transaction between governor and council of ministers. Chief minister plus council of ministers are appointed by the governor, and he also appoints minister of tribal welfare for the states of four states: Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh, and Odisha. And then the governor appoints members to State Election Commission, State Public Service Commission, and Vice Chancellor for universities in a particular state. And governor can seek any information from chief ministers plus council of ministers. And the last executive power is that the governor can recommend the imposition of president's rule to president in a particular state. Okay, so these are executive powers of governor, everyone. Okay, so if you have any doubts so far, please ask your doubts. Please ask your doubts. Please ask your doubts, everyone. Okay, if you're not asking doubts, I will move on to the next part. I will move on to the next part. That is, I will move on to the legislative powers. Okay. Since you guys are not asking doubts, okay, I'll move on to the next part. That is the legislative powers of governor. We will move on to the legislative powers of governor. Now, if you look at the legislative powers of governor, the first one is that governor has a power to summon and prorogue the state legislature. Governor has a power to summon as well as prorogue the state legislature. The second provision is that he addresses the first session of state legislature every year. He addresses the first session of state legislature every year. Third provision is that if both speaker and deputy speaker are absent, in that case governor will nominate the speaker. Governor will nominate the speaker. Okay, governor will nominate the speaker. Now, similar to Parliament, where President will appoint Anglo-Indians for state legislature, President will appoint Anglo-Indians for Parliament, and he will give some 12 nominated members to Rajya Sabha. Similar to that, governor can nominate 1/6 of the members of 1/6 of members to state legislative council from the fields of literature, from the fields of literature, science, art, cooperative management, and then social service. Okay, so president, how he is nominating 12 members to Rajya Sabha, similar to that, governor can nominate 1/6 of the members to state legislative council from the fields of literature, science, art, cooperative management, and then social service. Okay, now similar to how president nominates two Anglo-Indian members to Lok Sabha. Okay, sorry everyone, there was a problem in the internet. That's why. Okay, sorry everyone. There was a problem with the internet. That's why I couldn't continue with the class. See here, everyone. When a bill is presented to the governor, he can do four things. Okay, he can give his assent to the bill. He can withhold his assent to the bill. He can return the bill to the legislature, or he can reserve the bill for the consideration of president. Now, this part, which bills will be reserved for the consideration of president, we will discuss in state legislature class. We will not discuss in today's class. Okay, we will discuss this in state legislature class. Okay. So now these are the legislative powers of the government. These are the legislative powers of the government. Now next we will discuss what are all the judicial powers of the government. What are the judicial powers of governor? What are the judicial powers of governor? Okay, so the next thing we will discuss this. The first thing is that governor has a power to pardon, reprieve, respite, remit, and then commute a sentence for persons convicted based on state law. Okay, if a person is convicted based on state law, governor is empowered to pardon, reprieve, respite, remit, and commute a particular sentence. This is very very important, everyone. There is a difference between pardon, reprieve, respite, remit, and commute. Okay, the difference I have explained in the President of India class. Okay, all the difference between all these different types of clemency functions. Now this part is very very important. Okay, governor can use his clemency function only if a sentence is awarded using state law. If a sentence is awarded using union law, is clemency function of governor will not be used. Okay, so if a sentence is based on union law, if a sentence is based on union law or court martial, who is the authority who can grant clemency functions? President. Okay, so if a sentence is based on union law and court martial, the clemency function will be clemency function will be exercised by president, not the governor. Governor can exercise his clemency functions only if a person is convicted based on state law, not union law. This is very very important, everyone. And then the next one is that president consults governor while appointing judges of high court. Okay, so president will consult governor while appointing judges of high court. The third one is that governor in consultation with high court, in consultation with chief justice of high court, will appoint judges to lower court. Okay, president in consultation with chief justice of high court will appoint judges to lower court. Okay, and also in consultation with the same chief justice of high court, he will also appoint persons to judicial services. He will also appoint persons to judicial services. What is this judicial services? Officers who will assist the functions of judiciary. Like for example, apart from judges and lawyers, there will be number of administrative positions in various high courts as well as lower courts. So all these administrative personnel will be termed as judicial services. All these personnel will be appointed by governor in consultation with Chief Justice of High Court. Okay. So that's it, everyone. Okay, so that's it, everyone. We have discussed the office of governor successfully. We have discussed the office of governor. Okay. If you have any doubts so far, please ask your doubts. If you have any doubts regarding this, please ask your doubts. Okay. After that, I'm going to end this stream. After that, I'm going to end this class. We have discussed the office of governor, everyone. Okay. If you have any doubts regarding this class, please ask your doubts. Or if you want me to repeat, I will repeat. Okay. If you're not asking doubts in the next 2 minutes, I'm going to end this class. Okay. Okay. Okay, since you guys are not asking any doubts, I've assumed that you have understood everything. Okay, so goodbye, everyone. Have a wonderful day. See you tomorrow at 10 a.m. regarding class on vice president. Okay, tomorrow there is a class on vice president. So please.